The following is a message from Christ Central Manchester, a church that meets in the heart of Manchester in the UK. To find out more about us, please visit www.christcentral.org.uk.
I thought it was particularly brilliant, you guys in the front. You were absolutely excellent. So, do you like Christmas? Yeah. What are you looking forward to most? Presents, yeah. I kind of thought they'd say that. That wasn't set up in any means, as you can tell. Everything. I love it. I love Christmas. We've put up our big Christmas tree in our courtyard with our neighbours. We've got our Christmas tree at home. We've got it all set up. It's all exciting. Santa's going to come, and it's going to be absolutely wonderful. I don't know if you're like me, but I really love Christmas. I love everything about it. I love the mistletoe and wine. I love the... Did I say that? Out loud, sorry. I just love the snow scenes. I love the cosy feel of it. I love it. But I also love presents as well, which is great. But have you noticed how much people go over the top at Christmas? Have you just noticed that? Have you noticed everything's bigger and better? And I read this recently, that the average person puts on 6 pounds of weight at Christmas. See, it's good, I'm just ahead of the game this Christmas. I'm doing really well. I read that now, children, cover your ears. The average parent spends £500. I know that's hard for you to imagine. £500 per child at Christmas. People just, I know. Oh, there's some oohs and ahs. That's why I told the children to cover their ears. People go over the top, and sometimes people are over-demanding. I'll tell you a little story that I heard recently. There was a couple of parents with their little daughter, and Mummy was about to have a baby, and it was kind of getting near Christmas, and Daddy had a little chat with the little one and said, "What would you really love for Christmas?" And she said, "Well, to be honest, I know Mummy's going to have a baby. I'd love to have a baby brother for Christmas. Wouldn't that be lovely?" And so guess what? On Christmas Eve, Mummy comes back from the hospital with a little tiny baby boy. She gets everything she wanted for Christmas. And next year, Daddy said, "This year, what would you like for Christmas?" And she said, "Well, if it's not too painful for Mummy, I'd like a pony." But actually, Christmas can also be a difficult time of year. Sometimes the suicide rates rise at Christmas. People say that psychological patients have more difficulties, perhaps they regress. Recently I read that there are something like 3 million rows on Christmas Day in households. Let's hope not in your household at all. And sometimes we can obscure the real meaning of Christmas. And I think the real meaning of Christmas is typified by that last reading we had about the wise men. Notice they were wise men, not wise women. Apparently, if there'd been wise women, they wouldn't have needed to ask for directions. They'd have arrived on time. They'd have helped deliver the baby. They'd have cleaned up the stable and made a casserole. But these wise men, they came and they brought 3 very different presents, didn't they, for Jesus? And in one sense, you think they're a bit strange presents. Because what are the 3 presents? Number 1? Well, actually, that myrrh is number 2, but we can take that as number 1. Give me another one. Gold. Frankincense. Gold. Actually, myrrh's number 3. Gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And I'm just going to tell you a little bit about those 3 presents and why the wise men, because they're strange presents, I think. You might think gold's a great present to bring, but they're a little strange to bring a little baby. Gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Well, gold speaks of Jesus, that's the baby, being a king. Because gold is very expensive, it's very precious, and it's an incredibly amazing metal. Somebody said this: why is gold the greatest of metals? Not because it can't be tarnished, not because it shines with a glow that other metals don't, but only because gold is the one metal that people bow down to. Gold speaks about Jesus being a king. And at Christmas, we don't just remember baby Jesus. We don't just remember him as the baby. We actually remember this is God who's come down to earth, and the wise men got it. They were very wise. They came, and it said they worshipped the King. And Christmas is an opportunity for all of us, young and old, parents, not parents, children, adults, all of us to take another look at Jesus and say, he is worth worshipping. He's the King He hasn't just come as a cuddly baby in a manger, but he's come as the king to rule and to reign. Well, the second one that they brought was frankincense, gold frankincense. And it's a bit of a weird one, isn't it? Because we don't really know, perhaps today, what frankincense is. I was in a school nativity once. A little kid says, they were dressed as the kings. Well, I bring gold. Another one says, I bring myrrh. And another one says, Frankie sent this. Because they don't quite get what frankincense is. But if you break it up, it's frank incense. And incense is a very sweet-smelling perfume. And in the Bible, as part of worship, they would burn incense as a beautiful fragrance. In fact, there's verses in the Bible that talk about incense rising like prayers. And it really talks about a relationship. Prayer talks about an intimate relationship with God. And frankincense denoted that Jesus had come to bring a relationship between God and his people. And where that relationship was broken, where people feel disconnected from God, where people feel their relationship with God has in some way been broken, Jesus came at Christmas to fix it. Jesus came at Christmas to be the incense, the prayer to reunite us again with God. That's why they brought frankincense. It's just a very fancy perfume. You like fancy perfume? Good. You don't like it? Oh, that's okay. The third one, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Now, myrrh was a very strange one. Gold, I get. I wouldn't mind gold at Christmas. Just a hint. Thank you. I never worked with children or wives. I would quite... Or wife. I wouldn't mind some nice perfume. I wouldn't mind some nice aftershave. I don't mind I quite like to smell nice. As soon as I go to the airport, the first thing I do in an airport is I go to the desk and spray loads of free perfume, free aftershave on me. I like that. But gold, that's okay. Perfume, incense, that's okay. But the third one is a bit weird. It's myrrh. And myrrh was a very special resin or a very special gum that actually this is not so good, you use to preserve dead bodies. So what the earth was that present all about? Well, actually, it was a prophetic statement saying one day Jesus would give his life. You see, everyone else is born to live. You're born to live, aren't you? You're born to live a life. Well, Jesus was, born to live, but he was also born to give his life. He was born to die, and the myrrh was a prophetic symbol to Mary and Joseph that one day this little baby would give his life. You see, how is this broken relationship mended? Well, it's going to be mended by Jesus giving his life for us. Now, you might think that's a strange thing. Well, Jesus had the perfect life. Jesus had a clean life. I've got a dirty life. I've done things wrong. Jesus is going to grow up to do nothing wrong. And on the cross, Jesus is going to give his perfect life. You see, this is all about presents. You said Christmas is about presents, and the wise men bring presents. Well, actually, Jesus is the best present. God so loved the world that he gave his son. The Apostle Paul says, Jesus gave his life for me. And Jesus is going to do that. 30 years later, he's going to give his life. He's going to die, but gloriously, hallelujah, it's not Easter, it's Christmas, but he's going to rise again. Now, if you want to know more about this, if you want to know more about Christianity, if you want to know more about what Jesus said, if you want to know more about, is he really the Son of God? If you want to know more about why did he have to die? Why couldn't God just click his fingers and forgive everyone? If you want to know more about, did he really rise from the dead? Did Jesus really come alive again? Or is that just a fairy story and a myth? If you want to know more about that, there are some amazing facts about Christmas and Easter. And we're going to look at them on a very special course called the Alpha Course. In your pockets there, your drink pockets, or very near you, there should be one of these. That's actually Bear Grylls, who's a very famous explorer and adventurer. Actually, he's a Christian. And he says Jesus is the greatest adventure. Jesus is the greatest explorer. He's the greatest thing to find out about. I want to leave you with this message. Why not find out more about Jesus? Why not find out more about what he says? Why not explore his claims? Why not find out why He was able to fix our relationship. Why not find out more about why he died in order to reunite us to God? It's a totally free course. It's being run all over the country. There are estimated something like 3 to 4 million people in the UK alone who have done or are doing Alpha courses. It's being done in every major church, in Methodist, Baptist, Anglican, Catholic. All the major churches are doing the Alpha course, and we're doing it here in Christ Central. It starts in February the 1st, if you can remember that. And also, if you want a little lead-in, a little like a free taster of Alpha, just a bit of fun to get to know us, on the 18th of January, we also have our quiz night, which will be a bit of fun as well. If you want to know anything more about the Alpha course, then take the leaflet, but don't take this white one. This is our Connect cards. As Hannah said right at the beginning, we're going to have an offering at the end. All the money is going to go to very poor kids in Africa, in Zambia, where our friends Joseph and Lily run orphanages, and we're going to give them a little gift at Christmas, because like the wise men who give gifts to baby, we want to give gifts to some children. We want to give gifts to some very poor children in Africa. You haven't got to put anything in that. All I'd ask you to put in is this card, maybe with your details on it, maybe some way we can connect with you. And if you'd like to come to Alpha, just scribble on there Alpha, and we'll make sure that you get to know about Alpha. Guys, thank you very much for listening. Thank you for coming today. Thank you, kids. You are amazing. Give yourselves a clap. A little bit more exciting than that. Let's welcome the band back, who are going to lead us in a final couple of carols. Thank you very much.